What is up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing. I promised you I would get into some more techniques, some fishing, stuff like that, as opposed to lake breakdowns. And that's what we're going to do tonight. Talking to you about my favorite May, June, kind of late May, I guess I'd say like mid May to mid June, really kind of getting into early summer. One of my favorite things to do that catches us lots and lots of fish. Let's talk about it. So, what is my favorite pattern in mid May, early June? It's definitely got to be the top water, and that's going to be using the top water bait that is a walking style bait. So, I've got a couple here that I wanted to show you. This is a River2Sea. You can see here it's just like a spook, but it's just a little bit different. I love the bone colors, and really for me, I want three treble hooks. I don't really like the two treble hooks. I like the three treble hooks. There's one of the walking baits. This is actually a spook, a heated spook, uh, tried and true, been around forever. A lot of times we'll change out the hooks in those as well. That one, that's not the smaller one. That's kind of the mid-sized one, but it has a really, really good knock. That River2Sea one as well, you'll notice it has a lot louder knock. So if you take the heated one and you shake it, there it is right there, and this is the River2Sea. So very different kinds of knocks. So if you're not getting bit on one of these, then just switch over to the other one. And then last but not least, my other favorite walking bait, which is actually what you're going to see me catching fish on as we're talking about this today, is the pencil popper. And this is let's see who makes this, Yo-Zuri 3DB pencil popper. 135F is what it says. If I can find it, I'll put the link in the description below. If Omnia Fishing has it, I'll put it in there for you too. But that thing is just like a spook. It walks back and forth. But again, it has a knock that is a little more similar to that River2Sea. That one's a little bit lighter. That's the popper. And then this next sound you hear, that's going to be the spook. So really the spook and the popper are the closest ones that sound alike. So anyways, just a little test for you there. So if you're trying to figure out, what's going on, I'd say if you're throwing the popper or the spook, you're probably throwing two things that are pretty similar. So you might get the same type of reaction from the fish. So if that happens, switch over and throw this River2Sea. It has a different type of knock. It could really be the difference in making a good day or not a good day. So let's talk about the pattern. I talked about the baits. But let's really talk about the pattern, because the pattern to me is key. And you hear people talk all the time about shad spawn, shad spawn, shad spawn, shad spawn. We're all crazy about shad spawn. And there's a reason why, because if you wake up early enough, you will know what we are talking about. From 5:15 to about, I don't know, 7:15, it is mayhem out there. It's crazy. It is a feeding frenzy, and you need to get out there and get on the water. I mean, even if you have to go home and take a nap, that's fine. Just wake up at 5, get out there by 5:30 if you can, or however far you live away. Get out there by 5:30, be on the water by 5:30, be done by 10:30. That's 5 hours of fishing, and you would have put yourself right in prime time for this. So here's what we do, and here's what has been very, very effective. Now, shad spawn, obviously, you guys have heard a lot of people talk about it. They're going to say follow the birds. And if you're following the birds, yes, that will work. You will find the shad, you will find the bass, all of that good stuff. But for us, one thing that really works well for us being here on a city lake on Ray Hubbard is marinas. The shad love the marinas. They love to get up on the base of the floats of the marinas. These aren't like standing docks with wood pillars. These are just floating docks. They get up underneath those floats and all around them, and you'll see them in the morning. They're just flickering everywhere. And what you need to do is go out there with one of these walking baits, whether it be the spook or the River2Sea walking bait or the pencil popper. And you need to really pay attention to all of the different stalls that are around you. So you're looking at all the stalls, and what you're looking at is you're looking at the inside, the bottom half of those floating docks. So basically where that black part of that float is. And if you look really closely, if there's shad spawn going on, it's going to be flickering a lot. And more than likely, you're going to hear some blowups every once in a while. So what you need to do is go up there and position your boat to where basically you're going to flip this. So you're not going to make a big long cast in there and walk it like you would across a point or something like that. You're actually going to flip this bait. So you're going to flip it into the stall. Now, when you flip it into the stall, there's two areas that are absolutely must-have areas that you need to be in, or you're probably not going to get the bites that you're expecting. So when you're throwing this, you need to trust yourself that you can throw treble hooks very close to objects, because what you want to do is when you throw it into the stall or wherever you're at, hopefully it's a stall because that's what we're talking about, you toss it into the stall. You want it to go as far back as you can, obviously without getting hung up in ropes and stuff like that. That's why we're flipping, so we can flip underneath the ropes. And then you want it to be parallel with either the boat that you're fishing by. So you're going to have your walking bait basically walking back and forth like this, almost bumping the boat. Or if not, if you can get it to kind of tap the boat, it doesn't hurt the boat. Just get it really close, as close to the boat as you can. Then immediately come back with your next cast and flip it as close as you can to the float. And when you're on the float, you really want to bump that float. If you're bumping the float, you're probably going to get hit. But if you're not bumping the float, just get it as close as you can. The closer to the float you can get it and get it walking, the better chances are you are to get a bite. So remember that when you go up there and you get in there. One, we're not making casts, we're flipping. So you got to get flipping on your mind. Two, you either want to be really, really close to the boat or really, really close to the float. Those empty stalls that you see wide open that you're like, oh, I can make a free cast. You throw it in there, those are pointless. Those are pointless stalls unless they have boat lifts in them, and we'll talk about that some other time. But right now, we're just talking shad spawn and really talking early morning fishing. Even if the shad spawn's not there, those bass are positioned underneath those floats waiting for that shad spawn to happen. They know it happens there. It might not happen there every day, but it happens there enough that they basically go there this time of the year. So those bass are positioned there regardless whether there's shad spawn there or not. But the key in all of this is lure placement. If you put that lure in the middle, say you've got a boat and a float, and you cast right through the middle because that's the easiest place for you to cast, you have drastically decreased your chances of catching fish. You're better off taking the risk of flipping it up there and hitting the corner of the dock and getting hung up and unhanging yourself and getting frustrated and learning from that experience. So that way, next time you flip up there, you don't hit the dock. And eventually you're going to get really, really good at it. Now, do I go through and go and flip a bunch of stalls and never get hung up? No, it happens. It definitely happens. And every time I make sure to go get my lure, I don't leave any line around, all that good stuff. Respect the dock owners. But other than that, guys, I mean, you'll learn it. But the key is get that bait as close as you possibly can to the cover that you're fishing around, whether that be the float or whether that be the boat. And that is going to make a huge, huge difference. So a couple other things I wanted to talk about. One is the rod and the reel, because I think the rod especially is key for this. So I've got my setup here. This is actually what I was throwing this morning on Lake Lavon. I couldn't get a bite, but Landon caught 2 4-pounders. But I was throwing this on Lavon this morning, but this is what I throw my walking all day. So 7 foot, moderate to fast. Okay, 7 foot, medium heavy, moderate, fast tip. Man, I've jacked this all up. 7 foot, medium heavy. So it's medium heavy. It's got quite a bit of flex, but it's a moderate, fast tip. So it's not super stiff, but it's not super weak either. It's like in between. And that's really what you want for these walking baits. Now, also, when they go and they blow up on it and they hit it, don't jerk back super hard. Just slowly pull into them and then get them into the boat as fast as you can. The other thing is when they're out there and you're walking this bait, so you're walking it along and you see a blow up, right? Keep walking the bait. Don't stop. Don't jerk it. Don't get crazy. Just stay calm and just keep walking it. And if you do that, they'll come back and hit it. Now, if they don't come back and hit it after you're still walking it, then immediately throw right back in there the same exact spot and do it again. And a lot of times they'll hit it again. Those bass, when they're aggressive like that, they will continue to hit the bait until you hook them. They're frustrated. They want it out of there, and you are there to be their master and catch them. So definitely go for that. You'll see A lot of times when we're throwing these walking baits, we'll throw in there, miss one, go back, catch one, and sometimes they're really, really good fish. So anyways, guys, I think that's it. As far as the rod goes, again, it's a 7-foot, medium heavy, moderate fast tip. Okay, moderate fast tip. And the reel that we use is just the regular Corrado. This is a 200 HG, and it's a 7:4 to 1 gear ratio. So I'd say stick with the 7 to 1s or the 8 to 1s gear ratios. You'll be good. And as far as the line goes, I like to throw mine on 30-pound braid. I can even go up to 50-pound braid, but I really like the 30-pound braid. A lot of people like to throw this on mono too. So if you throw it on mono, I would say stay, 20 pounds or higher, because when you do get some of these bites, there are some big, vicious fish, and they will tear you up if you don't have good line on there. But me, myself, I don't have any problems with the braid. So I just stick with the braid. It's easy. I can switch it out. This is also the same rod that I use for my swim jigs. So it's a real easy flip out from the top water to the swim jig. And so I just like this setup. Anyways, guys, I hope that helps you. Hopefully you'll wake up early tomorrow, go out there, get you some shad spawn action. It's almost over, but we should have a couple more weekends left of it. Till next time, hope you catch your PB. Take it easy. Bye.